guys, so let's talk about the AllHome IPO. Is it a good deal? Is it too expensive? Is it worth your money? Should you put in money right here, right now? Is it something that will do well over the long term? What is the prospectus? What are the numbers telling us? Check this video out. Hi everyone, this is Marvin Germon. I make daily videos on the stock market with the whole goal and narrative to teach you that you can win and you can trade the markets with confidence. So if you're new to this channel, subscribe, smash that bell so you get updated every time I create new content about the stock market. And by the way, stay till the end so you hit and see who our subscriber of the day is. So enjoy the video. Hi everyone, before I share to you details of the AllHome IPO, all of this are in the prospectus which you can download from their website so you get to see the details firsthand. Please remember this, the whole narrative of me sharing this to you is so that you can get a firm grasp on what you're supposed to do when it comes to the IPO. Please remember, at the end of the day, it's still you who should make the decision whether you should buy, whether how much you should put into this IPO, because at the end of the day, it's your money, it's you deciding where your future will go, and I hope that this channel gives you the right information and right data so you get to decide, because I really believe this, at the end of the day, it's still your conviction, it's still the amount of knowledge that you have that will allow you to make money in the market, because at the end of all of this, it's how much conviction that you have, that you believe, and you believe that AllHome, based on the data that you see, is something worth buying or not. So before we start this, at any point in time you like AllHome, comment AllHome if you believe AllHome is a great company. Comment Villar if you believe Manny Villar will do a good job to make AllHome even bigger, brighter. So enjoy the video. Hey guys, so we're off again for another set of videos. This time I'm trying to analyze and give you at least the basic data on what the AllHome IPO is, with the goal that you use this data, you process this data, use the information here to help you decide on whether this is a good IPO for you or not. I have a link above here that talks about in more detail my thoughts about IPOs, if they're expensive, if they're good, should you buy on IPOs or not, and your style and narrative when it comes to buying and selling IPOs as well. So the link is above for you to know more about it, but this specific video is just to break down the IPO of AllHome so that you get, for me, a more holistic information on how the IPO will go, and so you get to decide based on the data, not because it's talked about in social media, not because it's talked about in the news, because at the end of the day you will make money when you know and you know and you know on what you're getting into. So is this just all hype, or is there really something in this IPO? So let's take it one by one. Just an overview on what the IPO is all about and what AllHome is. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this already because AllHome is also developing itself into a brand. Its closest rival that did an IPO more than 2 years ago is also Wilcon. That's why a lot of people were somehow speculating that, oh no, Wilcon stock went down because of a new IPO that's coming in as well. Just a head-to-head also, Wilcon did an IPO, but it was around 5 pesos per share. You can do an analysis now, comparative analysis on store to store, income to income, who was growing faster and who has a stronger brand as well. You have to remember that when you invest, you have to think about also how the company will grow, because when you start investing, when you start putting in money, it's not just about you buying today, it's you buying today thinking of how the company will be when they use the money that you give them for the IPO. So you have to see how prudent the company will be in terms of how they use the IPO, because at the end of the day you will make money, the company will grow if they manage the money well and they can use it for growth as well. So it should always be predicated on how the company will use the money to make the company grow even further. So overview, AllHome is a one-stop shop home store. So for those who don't know what it is, they sell for basically furniture. They basically sell everything that you would need if you would buy a condo. From paint to the furniture to the cabinet, to the shelves, to the decorations that you could put there, to fixtures inside the toilet, etc. All Home has it. So from a macro perspective, I really believe this is predicated on what's happening to a real estate space, that if you believe there will be more money to spend to build from consumers buying houses, buying condominiums, that they will need fixtures, appliances, and stuff to be able to fix those houses and condominiums, then that's the upside of All Home over the next few years. So if you believe that we still have that over the next few years, then All Home will take advantage of that as well. So another thing is that the company was incorporated last 2013, so it's just been here for 6 years. But of course, as you all know, that in spite of it being here for 6 years, it's backed by the Villar group, it's backed by Manny Villar, who have a lot of experience in the property development space. And another thing that I think will be its backbone is that the All Homes, as you've noticed, is placed in Vistaland malls. So anytime you see a Vistaland mall, you will see All Home there as well. So I think that would be one of its advantages, that Vistaland is a property developer. They are already building condos, houses, and they're building commercial centers. With that already, yun na yung magiging customers kagad ng All Home. So sumasabay yung All Home to what the developments in those areas will be. Next, as part of the overview also, as of July 2019, they already have 27 stores. So please remember, they started with 0 in 2013. In 6 years' time, they have 27 stores, 19 of which are in Mega Manila. And the total floor space, net selling space, is 215,994 square meters. So what do they sell? As what I've mentioned earlier, they sell furniture, hardware, appliances, tiles, sanitary wares, homewares, linens, construction materials. All Home is some sort of format. There's 3 types of All Home stores. Number 1 are the large mall-based stores, which as of this point in time brings in a big chunk of their revenue. And for me, it's very, very effective also, because it becomes a one-stop shop. When people do their groceries, they go to All Home. When people eat, they could go to All Home. And it's highly connected also to, I've noticed it, they're building the All Homes close to areas where they would build also their houses, close to where they would build their condos. So automatically, those who would buy their units and condos, it's easier for them to buy their appliances and fixtures in All Home. Then they have their large freestanding stores. These are like, think about Wilcon. That's like their Wilcon. They have small specialty stores which are under the All Home brand as well. So their target consumers are basically AB market, upper middle class. Average household income is around 70,000 pesos. So please remember, since the average income is around 70,000 pesos, this could be a single earner in the family taking the bulk of the 70,000, or it could be 2 people, one earning 50, one earning 20, or one earning 35, and then they contribute to the 70,000 household income. Now, let's look at the revenues. So my style, for those who've been following the sessions and the seminars, I like revenues that are increasing. It's very, 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 very important that the revenue of the company is increasing, because it tells you that there's still room to grow. There's still space, that they're in an industry that has a lot of upside still, that even if they have competition, they're beating their competition. And All Home fits that. 3.4 billion for 2016, 4.9 billion for 2017, 7.2 billion for 2018, and 5 billion for the first half of 2019. So if they double at least what happens in 2019, they will hit at least 10 billion for the year. But as you all know, the fourth quarter of the year in the Philippines is where all the bonuses, all of the remittances normally come in, and you will see a lot of spending in the latter half of the year. Net income, same narrative. It has to be increasing, it has to be growing. So if you look at it also, net income is also increasing. 2016, 46 million, 2017, 112 million, 2018, 511 million, 2019 for the first half of the year, 434 million. And if it just follows suit, they would probably hit 800 to 900 million for the year, or even more. In terms of store growth, very, very important also, because as the store grows,
the sales and income would follow as well. So 2016, 15 stores, 2018, 18 stores, 2018, 23 stores, 2019, 27 stores. So if you've noticed it, they've been scaling up, and if they most likely they're gonna double their store count already in just 5 years, more than double it in just 5 years. So that's amazing to see companies grow that fast, and they already have a template there. So they're not, this may seem like an IPO, but the company behind it, the family behind it, the management team behind it has already a large track record and history of getting the job done and also making money as well. So details about the shares. So there will be around 1.1 billion firm shares. So this will be the ones initially that will be sold, no? And if there would be an over allotment, they have 168 million shares that they could still sell to the general public as well. So relatively a larger IPO compared to KepWealth and also compared to ALL HOME. Please remember, KepWealth was around 300 million, ALL HOME is around 7 billion. This one faces to be something relatively bigger, and I'll show that to you in a bit. Next, shares to be sold still. You have 750 million primary shares, 375 million secondary shares. I think the secondary shares, the one selling is also their subsidiary, part of the Villar group, another company part of the Villar group. So please remember, 750 million shares to be sold. This is the only shares that will go directly to the company that they can use to somehow expand or whatever function that they would use for the IPO. Please remember this, that this 750 million shares, this primary shares, this is the only shares that once sold will be used by the company to generate and grow as well. The secondary shares doesn't go anymore to the company, and it won't be used to add shareholder value. So again, please watch the video that I posted about IPOs and my thoughts about primary and secondary shares, because they are very, very, very important for you to know. Next, part of that as well, similar to ALL HOME, no, 70% of the shares that will be sold are for institutions, then the remaining 20 are for local trading participants, and then 10% will be for local small investors for retail accounts. So at least they're doing this also so that more and more Filipinos will have a piece of the pie. More and more Filipinos who don't know about what the market is yet and are a bit hesitant, who have smaller capital, they can now be part of this and they can invest more. And I've seen it, no, over the years, there's more and more people investing via IPOs using the local small investors program. Anyways, the maximum amount to be raised, this was just based on what I saw disclosed more than 2 days ago. It got lessened. I think it was around 20 billion before. Now it's just around 18 billion pesos. Nonetheless, it's still bigger. Again, KPPI is 300 million, ALL HOME 7 billion. This one is around 18 billion. So relatively a larger IPO compared to the first two that we've seen in the year. So let's talk about the proceeds of the IPO. It's very, very important to know where the money is going, because at the end of the day, you need to be responsible. You need to be informed on where the money is going, because that will form part of how profitable they will be in the future. And this is a bit good. Now, they have 6.2 billion pesos that will go to expansion, and you like a company that places a larger amount of money of the IPO to expansion, because the larger the amount of money that they will use for expansion, it allows them to build more shareholder value. It gives them a greater potential to earn. Then they have debt repayment at 4.6 billion pesos. This is still relatively big, but I think it's still at a better place than what happened to CHP and Cebu Pacific, where there was an absolute larger amount of money proportion-wise placed on debt repayment as compared to expansion. So 4.6 is big, but it's not as bad as what you saw for Cebu Pacific or CHP as well. Then you have general corporate purposes for 0.6 billion pesos, around 600 million pesos to be spent as part of the IPO as well. So there, again, I'm a big fan of companies that places a larger amount of money for growth and expansion. That's why I love the the Golden Haven IPO that they did more than 3 years ago. That a large chunk of it went to expansion. It was a very, very small IPO. I think it was 700 million, but they placed a large chunk of the proceeds, if not all, to expansion. So there. Next, let's talk about the expansion of AllHome. As what I've mentioned, there's a big chunk of the IPO that will go to expansion, and their plan is basically this. For the second half of 2019, you will see 20 new AllHome stores. Then 25 new stores for 2020. So this is good, this is great. If I remember Pure Gold in 2011, they said they will build 25 new Pure Gold stores by 2012. This one, they're building also 25 new stores for 2020 for AllHome. So 43 of the stores that they will build over the next year or so will be funded by the IPO that we're giving. So and I keep reiterating this to a lot of people, no, you don't just invest in IPOs thinking that you will make money for yourself, but think about it as you give money, it gives them funding, they create more stores, they build jobs, and that's what's amazing about the stock market. It allows you to create jobs for other people. It allows this economy to even get bigger, better, and stronger as well. Now, the debt that I mentioned that they would have to pay, 3.8 billion would go to Union Bank, 150 to Security Bank, 500 million to PBB, then 200 million will go to All Bank, which they disclosed. One of the Villars also is part of that company as well. Now, dividend policy. For those who love dividends, they're going to give 15 to 30% dividend based on the net income after taxes from the previous year. So it's nice to see companies that give dividend as well, especially for long-term investors, because every time as long as you hold on to the stock, you get something. And I keep encouraging people to buy stocks with dividends, especially for people who are conservative, because at the end of the day, they will perform much better than time deposits. They will be better than bank accounts. So if you don't plan to touch the stock for a very long time, it will be prudent to buy stocks with dividends as well. Now, valuations. Based on the disclosure as of September 16, the PE ratio currently is at 20 to 25x based on the IPO price that they are projecting to be given or to be released. They said that this is around where Wilcon is right now, but you have to remember, Wilcon has moved up more than 3 times already from its IPO price. So the price of Wilcon when it did its IPO most likely is relatively cheaper from the premium that they are setting for AllHome. So again, you have to pick, either wait for it to correct or buy that IPO with the risk that if it doesn't correct, the stock will just keep on going higher. Next, important dates for you to know as a investor. The pricing date, or what the final IPO price will be the September 26th, and you can start buying the stock from September 30 to October 4. You can start ordering already, and the listing date will be October 10. So they're almost at the same time with Axelum, just a few days apart. So it's exciting because I've never seen this much IPOs in my entire investing and trading life. Now, the most that I've seen in a year is just 4. This year we'll probably have 6. So there, based on what I said, these are just general information about the company. I'll try to make more detailed information about the stock, about the company. Just comment them below. I want to hear your thoughts and your comments, because that's the videos that I'll create based on the questions that you are asking, based on the details that you want to make or want me to make. I will make videos off of them. So comment buy home if you want to buy AllHome based on this data. Also comment I won't buy if you don't like AllHome as a company, or you think there might be other companies that might be better than AllHome. You have to remember, after Axelum and AllHome, we still have Frutas. We also have the Metro Pacific Hospital unit, which will be coming out as well. And I think we have Calcom, a company that does exports, that's based in Taiwan, that has a base here as well in the Philippines.
So what did you guys think about the details, the numbers, the numerics about the AllHome IPO? Did it give you a firmer conviction that this company is worth buying for the long term? Comment below. Let me know, how much will you put? How big? What percentage of your portfolio will you allocate to this IPO? Comment AllHome if you love it, if you love this IPO, if you think it will do better than the other IPOs that we had. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your analogies and your data and your analysis on this, because all of us can learn from each other. So comment them below. And by the way, for those who want to know more about the stock market, if all of these jargons, the IPOs, the numerics are all foreign to you, and you want to learn how to trade with conviction, I have seminars still in Manila. The links are down below, and I will also be in Cebu, in Qatar, in Singapore, and in other cities around the world, teaching you, guiding you, that you can trade the markets with confidence, and it's not as hard as what most people think it is. And if you want to learn by reading, the links are down below as well for all my books about the stock market. So this is Marvin Germo. teaching you, guiding you that you can live your dreams, that you can use the stock market to help you reach your goals of financial freedom, that it's possible, that investing is not as hard as what most people think it is. So I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. Marvin Germo back in BGC. See you all again soon, guys, and God bless you all.